Hi, this is Poonam Chawla Sood, a bilingual writer from India on the page of the fertile brain, and I thank Mr. Prasanna Kumar for providing me this platform to interact directly and connect directly with this beautiful audience and fellow poets across the globe. So let me take you on a literary ride. This is about how I started my literary journey. So I started writing when I was young, I was in school, and I was an average student, but I scored well in English and Hindi, both the languages and literature. And my essays and my letters were applauded in class. My first poem, Lonely Soul, was published in The Pioneer, and it's the leading newspaper of India, and I got rupees 25 as remuneration in those times. It was around about somewhere in 1987. So this is how my journey started. And then, I am fully fond of Hindi literature, so as Dr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan, father, a very noted writer, and father of the Millennium Star, Amitabh Bachchan, he said that if you want to read me, if you want to read my book, then you can pick up any book from the stand. But if you want to read me, then read me through the sequence in which I write my book. So following his insight, I would first of all recite my poem which I wrote early, and it was published in Rashtriya Sahara literary magazine, or monthly literary magazine, and the name of the poem is From the Gallery of Memory. To cheer up the pensiveness of a lonely dark night, I picked up from the gallery of memories a few fond remembrances, star-studded, shiny and bright. I fondled and tossed the moments begone, and untangled the threads of time all night long. A small house merged behind, a few shadows projected on the screen of my mind. On setting the focus, the figures became clear. Lost for the world were they, for my heart were too near. That house held all my old belongings, my childhood, parental protection, toys and strings, my book of fairy tales, my tricycle, and the box of all junk things. The corners where I played hide and seek, and the back door from where I squeezed. Aches my heart with pleasure when I reflect those days of leisure. A small little nest, so cozy and comfortable, those were the seasons when spring was stable. Having experienced the autumn of blood relations, I married and moved to a big house. Today, I live with my loved one, yet that cozy home haunts me whenever I am alone. I unlock the doors of my soul, pamper the cold corners and walls of my home with my gentle touch and warmth of affection. Both my home and me share immense satisfaction. Though the old house is buried in the sands of past, though the old house is buried in the sands of past, the home in it still dwells in my heart. The home in it still dwells in my heart. So this was the poem which I wrote, and the story as well, similar to this. after my parents who passed away young. So when we two sisters were vacating our parental house, since then, poetry has worked as a therapy for me. And my next poem, an empty chair, you can see the reflection. That's how it felt. My heart has been a playground. My heart has been a playground for toddler choices like merry-go-round, for adolescent desires climbing up and sliding down, for mature longings and inclinations, sitting on either ends of a seesaw, for emotions and sentiments swinging to and fro, desires waiting for their turn in a queue at every stage, in every age. I loved to undulate. Having experienced the autumn of relationships, I discarded all the strings from my heart, leaving just an empty rocking chair in the playground park. A desire occasionally visited to recline on the chair, rocking it forward and back, threatening inner peace with noise attack. By practicing meditation, I created a celestial world where the desire vanished, leaving the empty rocking chair to a complete standstill. So this was a poem, and I feel that it has some reflections of how poetry works as a therapy. So as gradually I started writing stories for leading magazines, newspapers, and All India Radio Yodha. And though the stories were very much appreciated, I basically remained a poet. And at times I wrote poems which I would not categorize them as narrative poems, but they do carry the story. Like the one which I'm going to read now is Unposted Letters. This poem was published in 60 Dust, an international anthology. It was edited by Dr. Anita Nahal. I think you would enjoy this poem because it has a story. Unposted Letters. On an unplanned solo vacation to a quiet hill station, the feel of cool breeze made me realize I forgot to keep a cardigan. Unwilling to indulge in expensive shopping, I picked a black hooded bright red jacket from the local street market. I wore the jacket on the spot and walked back to the resort. On my way back, an aloof red-painted cylindrical house with black-colored door, terrace, and a top-story window caught my sight. How come I did not notice this letterbox here at cottage while going downhill made me surprised. I returned to my room, too tired to eat, just had coffee and went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to see the resort staff and doctor surrounding me. Horrified, I looked around, touched my arm to feel if it was a dream. I got hold of the jacket, which I forgot to take off before going to sleep. The doctor felt I sleepwalked to an aloof haunted letterbox. I confessed I had never ever sleepwalked, but I do remember going to the house in shape of a letterbox. which had numerous unposted letters by Walter Smith, who asked me to collect and get them published. Though strange it may sound, he was aware I worked for a publishing house. An old staff member revealed Walter, a local promising writer, lived alone with his grandmother. 2 years back, he died young in an accident. The jacket I wore had his initials on the top left. The jacket was tossed by the staff with Walter's letters and a heavy heart. I left the resort. On my way back, I looked at the hilltop. There was no house, just a mailbox, aloof, abandoned, haunted, detached. So, as we move further, I had invited my Facebook friends to join this session with a cup of green tea. I finished mine, but for those who could not arrange, I have a poem for you, and that is coffee and tea. And this was included in the anthology Souvenirs of Best Indian Poetry in English of 2020-21, edited by Arvindo Ganga. So here is my poem Coffee and Tea for my friends on Facebook. Once coffee from a metro cafeteria, fed up with cafe cacophony, took a journey alone to a village valley in the hills. Coffee, unbraced its aroma, got into the local petrichor, padding barefoot across the footbridge to a suburban tea stall. Chai Tapri, as the natives addressed, was a wooden stall with an outstretched polythene supported on bamboo poles. The lady preparing the tea sat behind a worn-off stove, covering her patched blouse with her faded sari. A multitasker, invariably dressed for two, served tea in earthen coolers and glasses. He cleared the wooden tables and washed the utensils. Late evenings, a folk band from the village nearby performed under a big old oak tree which swayed on a high-power yellow bulb hung on a naked holder to the cool breeze. I saw tea. Her bold, beautiful, raw look attracted me. She too was infatuated with my looks and etiquette. Soon we fell in love. I proposed to marry her, take her to my cafe, brand her to be presentable. She took time to decide. Later, with tears in her eyes, she refused to be tied in satin, live a machine's life, detach herself from her rustic lifestyle, give up her soul identity. Some alliances are too demanding. Some alliances are too demanding. Probably such relationships are never meant to be, are never meant to be. In August 1998, I formed a literary organization for women in the name of my favorite poet, Gulzar. And in 2018, I won the first position in national poetry competition held by the Social Department and Government of Madhya Pradesh, Kavita Baisakhi. It was my privilege to receive an award from my mentor, as I call him, Gujata. So the poem awarded was in Hindi, and I translated. Being a translator, I have translated two books also. So being a translator, I have translated that poem in English. The topic for it was disability, and the word limit was 75 words in Hindi. So here it is for you, all my friends across the globe. Tissue napkin. While sitting at the cafe table in the canteen, while sitting at the cafe table in the canteen, sipping coffee, he often drew my sketch on a tissue paper. While sitting at the cafe table in the canteen, sipping coffee, he often drew my sketch on a tissue paper with your ballpoint pen. I, a developed fetus in your womb, would giggle at your weird sketching skill. I, a developed fetus in your womb, would giggle at your weird sketching skills. On my birth, when you discovered, on my birth, when you discovered I was an anomalous as your sketch, you got distressed. You left me as a tissue napkin on the canteen table. You could have at least taken me home. You could have at least taken me home as an abstract piece of art. Maybe someday you could have, maybe someday you would have comprehended my aesthetic. So, as I said, motivation works wonders. So, after getting the reward, my first poetry collection, Mystic Kavitaएं, in Hindi, was published in 2009. And this year in February, my second poetry book, Jama Khata, got released. And I hope that by the early next year, my English poetry collection should also be published. And I have been an ardent nature lover, a sensitive poet, and a strong feminist. I have used three adjectives, and though I don't want to be labeled as any of the above, but I get my favorite topics for writing nature and history, women, and the complexity of relationships. So, as here in this poem, I would read out. I have um, picked nature as well as the uh, problems the young girls uh, face, and the crime against women are both addressed to both the problems in one single poem. And here it is, where words don't matter. Hira Lal, the gardener in a public park, an ardent lover of flowers, believed the earth smiled in flowers. He protected the flower bed. As a disciplined father, cared for his children. He considered flower plucking an offense, as brutal as assaulting the modesty of a maiden. He had placards with signals and signs all over the garden for uneducated and wild, strictly prohibiting plucking of flowers, with warnings of punishment and fine. One quiet summer afternoon, when he was home for lunch, his only child, a 13-year-old girl, sat guarding the vast flower beds for him. Post-lunch, he returned to find her missing. Next morning, her torn, tortured, naked body was found amidst the dense flower bed, covered with smashed flowers and shattered petals. Days passed. Hiralal did not react. His barren eyes matched the past flower beds, and one fine day, the morning visitors in the park observed all placards with signs, signals, rules, regulations smashed and thrown in the park garbage pail. Allow silence. Allow silence to communicate where words fail. Allow silence to communicate where words fail. With this poem, I thank all my dear friends, fellow poets, a lovely audience who took out their time to listen to me, to hear me, and I'm grateful to the Fertile Brains, the entire team of Fertile Brains, and Prasanna Kumar, my brother, and my friend, lovely poet, the humble human being. So God bless you all, and and here in India it is night, so have a good sleep. Thank you so much. Thank you.